probably should have filmed this earlier, and I always tell myself, no, I'll remember what I want to say. And then I leave it, and then I don't really have the same, like, in the moment inspiration, and now I have to, like, piece together exactly what I wanted to say. Um, but this is also something, like, that I think has been in the back of my mind for a while now. And I think that's what happens with a lot of my videos. Like, I'll have an idea, but I'll let it simmer for a really long time, which is why, even though, like, I want to post a little bit more for fun, it's hard for me to, I don't know, just like turn on the camera and do it sometimes, which is weird because, like, I feel like I take and document a lot of things in my life. I just never really talk out loud by myself anymore. Um, but today, I would like to talk about, I guess, in a way, like the small camera. Um, I think I got this when I was in like fourth grade. I don't remember. I think it was a Christmas present, or my dad got this in a raffle and I got to keep it. And I recently, in the past year, have reconnected with it. It's this, I've spilled orange juice on this. This has been through hell and back. Some of the buttons are so sticky, and I can't believe it still works. But it works great. Obviously, not the best quality, but like, honestly, if the light's really good, it looks great. I don't know. Samsung kind of knew what they were doing with this. Um, I don't even know what it's called, S860. But I have a lot of. I think I wanted to see if it still worked last year when like digicams were getting really popular again. And I was like, okay, well, I don't need to spend another like $50 on one if I have one at home that works. And I think I went back in May last year. That's when I got it. And I was so happy to know it worked. I like went on a whole um, road trip up to Maine from New Jersey with my family, and I documented a lot of it on this. I documented a lot of it on film too, which I low-key still haven't shared. No, I have. No, that one I've shared. Um, but there's a lot of like videos and like random pictures I took that I didn't really share. And I also like didn't realize I still had an SD card in here that had pictures from like years ago on it. And so looking through that was really interesting because I feel like I still take a lot of similar pictures today. Um, more obviously with a little bit more care, I think, rather than just like willy nilly like taking photos. But sometimes I'll look at these photos, or like even just like not even on my like camera, on my old like iPhone 3, pictures I've taken on there, and it's like, wait, I kind of like. Why does this look really good? And I think it's just a feeling that photos give me. Also, it's different when you're like looking at these photos with rose tinted glasses. Like, obviously, I'm looking at photos from my childhood, and it's like, oh my god, it was my childhood. Oh, it's so beautiful. Uh, and people aren't gonna get like people who like obviously that aren't you aren't gonna get that sometimes. It's just like it's just a fucking photo of a tree. It's like, no, it was my favorite tree when I was growing up. And I don't know. I was like on the phone with my mom today, and she was telling me, um, I don't know what prompted this, but she was like, Hannah, I love the photos you take. They make me feel so warm. And I'm like, what does that mean? What does that mean, Mom? She's like, no, it just like, I feel really good when I look at them. It evokes like a specific feeling for me. And I think that's like one of the biggest compliments I could get about my photography, especially coming from my mom. My mom's like, not that she's a very judgmental person, but if she doesn't like something, like she will point it out. Like, it's kind of funny. I wear a lot of makeup. Like if I'm putting on a full look, I am putting on a full look. And my mom has never been like, that's too much makeup, that's too much makeup. She's always been like, oh, that's super cool, like it looks really good, like you did great with that, like this looks really good, it looks so blended into your skin. And sometimes she'll look at other people, it's just like, that just like doesn't suit them. And I'm like, Mom, I wear the same amount of, I'm basically wearing the same look. And I'm like, no, like there's something missing there. And it's like probably daughter bias. Like, let's be for real. Like, you're just like, it's your child. Like, they're so creative. Oh, your child is so cool, like, kind of thing. But, no, I think I do trust my mom on some, like, stuff like that. Because, like, even, like, to me, like, she'll, like, voice opinions. I'm just like, all right, I'm going to keep doing what I want to do. But, like, you can think what you think. But, like, stuff when it comes to, like, my creative side, like, she's very openly supportive of it. And when we're talking about like photography, because I feel like I've started doing a lot more of it recently in the past couple of years. She's like, oh, like this is, your photos make me feel good. And it's not like I'm taking photos of like the most interesting things ever. I think I tend to gravitate towards a lot of nature, like natural photography. And granted, a lot of these photos I also take on family trips, so she's probably remembering a lot of that. But then it got me thinking, it's like, what do I enjoy most about what I capture? And I think I've like kind of verbalized this a long time ago, but I think good photography mixes a good aesthetic with an emotion. Because sometimes, like, I don't know, like, when the way I critique photography, and I have no, like, formal training in this is all coming to you as a person who's just learned everything on their own. So I don't know any formal, not to say I don't know any formal techniques, but just like the way I learned photography was very organic and not in a classroom setting. So maybe some of what I say doesn't really make sense, or maybe my critiques aren't that valid. But like, I'll look at a picture and I'm like, oh, that looks cool, but it's just like, wow, it's a photo that looks good, but I just like don't feel anything when I look at it. And obviously, like these photographers are so talented. And then other times I'll look at a photo and I'm like, this may not be the best photo in the world, but like I just feel so much pull when I look at it because you can see there's so much emotion behind it. And I think like that's what I'm afraid of sometimes. Is like I'll take a photo. I'm like, does this like, I don't know, does this make me feel something? Because sometimes I'm just like shooting. I'm like, I guess I took a photo. And I think that's why I like film photography a lot. Because it makes me like slow down and actually think about what I'm taking a photo of. It's like, oh, I like the way this is making me feel in real life. How can I translate this to my photograph? And so it's interesting that I really enjoy taking photos with this because I feel like I kind of treat it a lot more like film photography. Obviously way less expensive, but it is slow. I do have to like think about which moment I want to capture because it's going to be like another couple of seconds before I can take a photo again. And I take it around a lot because it's the easiest. Like I'm not going to be taking around my entire DSLR for like a casual hangout. Now I'll be like, all right guys, smile, take a photo. Okay, put it back in my pocket. So I think I capture a lot more emotions with this. I'm not necessarily interested in making a picture look good with this because it's like I'm not going to be like, I'm going to take a portfolio photo with this. It's more just, I guess, I don't want to say social media based, but it's for sharing because I have a lot of film photos that I actually like don't want to share. I don't know, it's hard to explain. I didn't understand when people were like, I just take photos for myself, because I always thought as like a creative you want to share everything like that you make, but now I think sometimes I'm like, no, I want to sit with certain things I create with myself for a while before I'm comfortable sharing it with the world. And it's not like I'm changing anything with what I've created. I just want to absorb it all before I'm able to fully share things with people. That's another topic that I think is simmering in the back of my mind. That one's not fully fleshed out yet. Uh, Coming back to this, all that to say, I look at things I've taken with this camera and compare it to what I'm taking now. And I think it's great and really kind of heartwarming that a lot of what I took, a lot of the stuff I documented back then is very similar to how I document now. And so I think it's just still, this invokes like that childlike wonder or childlike creativity for me. Because it's like I'm taking little snippets here and there, and then I look back at the whole picture. I'm like, oh, this was really great. I can really see or remember the emotions I was feeling while taking the photos. Sometimes, like, taking, I don't know, for example, like I'm doing a headshot session. Sometimes it's very clinical, like taking a headshot session. You're like, all right, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, blah blah blah. Looks great. This is great for your resume, or this is great for your website. Looks good, very good. And it's just like, that's a great photo. This person looks great. They are in a stance that they like, and sometimes that's all there is. And obviously people feel really good when they see good photos of them, which I really feel good about. But I realized that when I was first sifting through what was in this camera, that was left over in this camera after, had to be over 10 years that I haven't used this camera, which is crazy. I realized like I took one of the last photos of my dad before like everything happened. I mean, not that like we haven't taken a photo with him on our phones or anything, but like when I was younger, I took a photo of him with this. You can't really see his face, but I think we were on the beach or something. I still have it. And there's tournaments that I took pictures of, like soccer tournaments I took pictures of where Eugene's like dancing, all his friends are laughing, which I love that photo. That photo is so fun to me. It really captures like how silly we were as kids and how much fun we had, like just traveling to all these places, doing, I guess, all these extracurriculars that we were involved in. I have pictures of me in braces that I'm just like awkward photos. I don't know, like just silly things that you look back on and you're like, oh my god, this is ridiculous. And it's just interesting. It's interesting because I remember looking at that photo. I'm like, how do I smile? Like, what do I look like? And now I know it's because I was just showing my teeth and not like actually smiling. Remembering those small moments, even though they were so long ago, I can still remember the moment each picture was taken, like to my best knowledge. And it's really obviously nostalgic. I don't know, I just feel so sentimental when it comes to things like this. This is something I'm really sad about, but this is the film camera point and shoot that all my baby photos were taken on before we all moved into the digital age. And recently, like, the film sensor stopped working, so it won't wind the spool of film. It won't register that, like, there's film. Like, it will register that there's film in there, but it won't start taking photos, which I'm really sad about, and I don't think anybody's going to be able to fix it, which is really sad, because it's something my grandma, like, took so many photos on this thing, and I still treasure a lot of the photos that were developed from it. Like, they're my favorite, like, childhood photos ever. And I took a lot of photos that I love on this. And I think, like, I've been really kind of not even reflecting, just, like, thinking through what I treasure about documenting my life And I think that this is also a big part of why I like continue to make videos once in a while, because when I look back on videos, whether I'm talking to the camera or it's just like a small like travel vlog where I'm visiting my friends, I'm like, oh, I remember this is what I was feeling in that moment. Because sometimes you forget. Like, you're like, oh yeah, I visited Kiana, but like when you relive certain moments that you've taken, you're like, oh my god, I remember exactly what I was wearing. It was raining that day. We were doing this. And it's all like the little moments that you don't capture on camera that you remember when you look back at the footage, because you're like, oh, like this is exactly what I was doing. I don't know. I think that's so cool. And I always feel bad, or like it's people are just like, live in the moment, live in the moment. And I think I am living in the moment in that, like when I take a photo. Like I want to take a picture of the food, and sometimes that's the only picture I take of the hangout. But then I look at the food and I'm like, I look at the picture of the food. I'm like, oh, this is what we talked about that day. This is who I was hanging out with. This is what we did. And like, I remember. And sometimes it's hard to remember on your own. I find it's getting harder for me to remember on my own. It's like, oh yeah, we did this. What exactly did we talk about? Or what exactly did we do? And but I'll look at something captured from that day and I'm like, oh yeah, this is everything that we did. And so I'm trying to be less. It's hard because I want to be on my phone less, which is why I keep coming back to this, because I'll snap a photo, I'll go about the hang or go about my day, and then I'll like just upload everything onto my phone at the end of the day. Um, and like kind of collecting little things, little digital reminders of what you did. This is all stuff that's probably also been said. Like, I'm not saying anything revolutionary here, but I think for me it's even more so important now, recognizing that I should be documenting everything. Something I have been trying to do more of, like when I first started film, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna like take photos of new places I go to. And I realized I like rarely take any photos of my family, which is so stupid. Like, I'll take photos on my phone, like yeah, sure, but I've been more conscious of making sure to capture my family on film, because I think it feels a lot more special to me in that way. It's like I took time to position this shot. This is how I'm documenting us in this moment. This is where we are in life in that moment. And I think like looking at all the photos I've taken of my family on film over the past couple of years, it's like, oh man, I'm really happy I did that. I'm not just like, oh, I don't need to take pictures of my family because there's somebody there are people I'm so familiar with. I want to take pictures of, I don't know, new places I go. And I realized I'm just a familiar type of person. Like, I've taken pictures of my windowsill a bajillion times. I will always take pictures of my desk whenever I like start a new role, or like whenever I get a new camera. It's just something that's familiar, a checkpoint, or like not a checkpoint, it's a benchmark of what I can capture. Yeah, whenever I'm back in like my hometown, I will take pictures of the same thing. Uh and I think you see a lot of similar themes in a lot of photographers, where people like capturing what's familiar to them. And I think I just need to accept that a little bit more. I think sometimes I fall into that thought process of like, oh, it has to be so cool. It has to be so, not innovative, but like, oh, striking, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm not that type of person when it comes to photography. Like, sure, an elaborate shoot is great. Like, that's super fun to like think of, but I will literally take a picture of a pencil and I'll be like, that was great. I love that. This is my favorite pencil. And I don't know, I look back at pictures like that and I'm like, honestly, I'm really glad I took a picture of this. Like, this, I really like. I like the picture of this leaf I took. I like a picture of this other random thing that I took, but it's super familiar to me. And I'm excited to capture more, barring that it breaks. I don't know. I think I'll still keep it if it breaks. Like, I know at that point it's junk, but like, I can never ever throw this camera away. Like, this is where I think my journey started, even before I recognized that I liked taking photos. Um, I don't know. You just transition. You just transition into. It just keeps evolving. I think I'm gonna be keeping this one for a while. Should I take a picture, guys? Let's see. Look. Goals for this year, 2026. I'll be uploading at least 2 more videos. That's what I told myself. Okay. I will hopefully see you soon. Oh yeah, my hair's blue now. Alright. See you later.
Hi people of YouTube, welcome to my channel. My name's Hannah, I'm the owner, and reposition myself, and welcome. This is just like a brief introduction to my channel. I'm probably going to be doing a lot of singing videos, a few vlogs, and maybe a few challenges that my friends agreed to. Hopefully nothing too disgusting. Just wanted to update you guys for the very few subscribers I have, but that's okay. And I hope more of you come along in the way, and yeah.